Hello, this is a short video about Havoc Brigade and some design decisions that went into it. To give you a brief overview of what Havoc Brigade is, it is a very short game. It's about 26 pages, and that game contains characters, it contains a mission, it contains a map, and all the rules you'll need to play. It's kind of like Lady Blackbird, but instead of steampunk space opera, you have orcs stealing things and making lots of noise. I ran it in the past. I ran a similar mission in the past using the Dark Heresy rule set, and while it was fun, I found that my players weren't really interested in really achieving the mission. What they were interested in was stealing things and creating distractions, and not creating distractions as in we'll send 3 of us around the front and the other 3 go around the back while we're making noise. All 6 players would make their own distraction with no particular aim in mind. I'd have to try and cobble the game out of that. I figured that what I should do is just write a system that does that from the off. So, 2 things that are fun about Havoc Brigade. One is the distraction mechanic. It's called Mayhem. And every time the orcs do something loud or stupid, which is often because orcs are loud and stupid, DM grabs a dice and drops it into a big central pot. And the more dice that are in that pot, the more prepared the guards are in the city, and the more dangerous they are to the orcs as they get out the proper armour, they get proper lines of sight, they can set up traps, etc, etc, etc. However, at any point, once per game, a character can decide that they want to unleash mayhem, grab all the dice from the central pot in the middle of the table, and roll them as though they were coming from their character's skills or equipment. And what that means is that it's put a pressure cooker into the game, where it encourages people to make really stupid decisions and come up with really stupid plans and make lots of noise and get in all sorts of trouble. And then when you decide that's enough, you flick the switch on mayhem and get to basically end the scene. It's a lot of fun. I've seen it work in playtests, and it's a great creative tool. And the second thing that's interesting, which I mentioned, is stealing. Now, what orcs like to do is steal things. At least if my playtesters are anything to go by. Sorry, my camera's slipping down. If my playtesters are anything to go by, orcs like stealing things, and it was kind of an arse to keep track of all that in Dark Heresy, which has lots of complex equipment rules. But in this, not so much. Everything's represented by a dice. For each piece of equipment you have, whether that's a bow or an axe or armour, or I think the goblins have or one of the characters, by the way, is just a stack of 6 goblins, which you all play at once, because 6 goblins equal about 1 orc. One of the goblins is a fish, there's some dynamite, like a hat. Anyway, no matter what the piece of equipment does, if you can convince the DM, the games master, that it's useful to your role, you cross a point of resistance off it, I suppose, and add a dice to your dice pool when you roll. So you have lots of equipment and you're very flexible in how you use it, and it doubles or triples or quadruples how effective you are in any given situation, but it's very quickly used up, so you're forced to scavenge for things. With that, you have a little row of empty boxes on your character sheet, and between you and the GM you come up with some fun stuff that you steal from the city as you move through it at the end of each scene, which means that although you start off in proper armour and with proper swords and proper equipment, you quickly lose that. And the fun thing about every game of Havoc Brigade, which used to be called Orc Hijinks Yes, as a working title, and I actually prefer it, but it probably wouldn't sell as well. The fun thing about Orc Hijinks Yes was when, by the time the orcs get to the end of the mission, and they've stolen everything. They've stolen jet engines, they've stolen giant beasts, and then built cabinets around them and mounted cannons on those, which they're using as a sort of weapon. They've recruited human cultists. They've stolen a heretical turnip in one game. That was quite a big deal. It's lots of fun to steal things and to use them as weapons and equipment and in stupid plans. And the game lets you do that. It lets you make stupid decisions and grab stupid items and then have that work out very effectively for you. It's lots of fun. It's got art by Tim Wilkinson-Lewis, who does Yes Hive Overlord on Twitter. He also used to do the Zombie LARP game with me. It's got a map drawn by handsome George Seed, who is not an artist, but is quite good at drawing maps, and a very nice guy. He's a doctor, he's a scientician anyway, I don't know, but he draws a good map, take it from me. And it's really good. I've playtested it a bunch of times, I've had lots of fun, I think you can have some fun with it too. It's entirely free to download, there should be a link to download it there. If you want to back me on Patreon, or up your backing, or lower your backing, or whatever, or just look at my Patreon and see how it's going, there should be another link down there. So yeah, thanks for listening, hope you enjoy Havoc Brigade.